John Hinderaker, thank you so much indeed for your time. Can you tell me, Donald Trump has come under huge fire in the media for his handling of the coronavirus crisis. From this distance, reading these reports has been dreadful. How bad has it been?
Well, it depends how you look at it. I mean, the virus hasn't been that bad. It's worse than an average seasonal flu season, but the fatality rate is not very different from a seasonal flu virus. It affects overwhelmingly people who are elderly and whose systems are already compromised by other morbidities. In the state where I live, the median age of death from this virus is 83 years old, and 80% of all of the deaths have been in nursing homes and assisted living facilities. So other than that, there have been very few. So what's really been a problem, in my view, is not so much the virus, but the shutdowns that have been put into place by various governors. All but one of our 50 governors actually has ordered some kind of a shutdown of both business and social activity, ostensibly to slow down the spread of the virus. And those shutdown orders have devastated the economy, and I think in the long run are going to do far, far more damage than the virus.
Well, the United States is quite interesting in that regard because different states have had different lockdown strategies, some tight, some not much at all. When you look at it state by state, particularly, say, in your area of the United States, what does the evidence show about how well shutdowns work or don't?
It's really interesting. There's no evidence that shutdowns make any difference in preventing cases or deaths from the coronavirus. I've looked at the 5-state area, the upper Midwestern states that Minnesota is one of, and it's really interesting because our governor, who was a liberal Democrat, issued a very draconian, harsh shutdown order, which, by the way, he announced tonight he's starting to lift. But he issued this very harsh order. And it turns out that so far, my state has both the highest unemployment rate and the highest death rate from COVID-19 of those 5 states in this region. So we're worst in both categories. Right next door to us is South Dakota. South Dakota's Governor Kristi Noem, who's a Republican, is the one governor in America who refused to order any kind of a shutdown. They gave advice, they gave guidance, but they said people are smart, they can look after their own health, they don't need me to order them what to do. And she was blasted by the Washington Post, the New York Times, and the Associated Press because she was the one who wouldn't order a shutdown. Well, it turns out that in our 5-state area, South Dakota has, well, number one, they have the lowest unemployment rate in the United States. Number two, they have the lowest fatality rate in the region, despite not having, or maybe because of, I don't know, not having any shutdown order at all. So there's zero evidence that these draconian orders, shutdown orders, have really made any difference.
Now, the United States death rate is actually lower per population than we've seen in Spain and Britain and France and in Italy. In fact, the deaths have been worse in Democrat-run New York. But the attacks on Trump have been ferocious in the media. How's that affecting his popularity?
I don't think it affects it much, frankly. People are so used to the press bashing President Trump. I don't think anybody pays much attention to it. As you know, Andrew, he's been on television. He's scaled it back somewhat now, but for a long time, he was on television every day, along with this Dr. Fauci character and others, talking about the federal government's response to the coronavirus. And my opinion is that the federal government overreacted to the virus. But nobody can say that, right? The Democrats can't criticize him for overreacting. They can only criticize him for not doing enough. And the fact is they've done an amazing amount of stuff for better or for worse.